Hi, hello, and welcome back. So today I'm going to do a part 2 to a video that I already did about a story called the Goethe Experiment. I did a video introducing the three main characters, Teresa, Neela, and Jalen, and this is the video introducing the important side characters to this story. I have 5 characters that I'm going to be introducing, but I'm combining 2 of them since they always appear in a pair, which was a tongue twister to say, but let's get started with the first one. This man's name is Rosin. Well, that's what everybody calls him by the name Rosin, and he's a part of the Goethe Experiment, which you can look at that video first to find out more about what the story is about, but basically it's... Okay, I wrote down a story summary. Okay, when her best friend and cousin get captured during a routine repair mission, space soldier Jalen teams up with a prisoner to rescue them, where they discover a deeper conspiracy that goes all the way to the top, forcing them to go on the run while they search for the truth about why Teresa was framed and who is trying to cover up the destruction of a lab on a remote planet. Okay, I know that sounded like a lot. I need to work on my elevator pitch, but that's basically what the story is. It's a sci-fi story where people died, somebody gets framed, there are some girls on the run, and they want to find out what's going on. Simple. Until we get into the conspiracy, but I will leave that for now. You'll have to read the story to find out. Anyway, so this guy, Rosin, he's the other survivor from the colony planet that Teresa is from. Everybody else that was on the planet died except for the 2 of them, and they were young at the time. She was about 13 and he would have been a bit older, like late teens, early 20s. I haven't decided yet. Depends on when I start writing him in the story how old I want him to be. I know he's going to be like in his 40s, but I haven't decided yet. Also, I may lower his age depending on how old I want Teresa to be. And I think she's going to be in like her mid-20s. So he might be in his 30s, because I don't want their ages to be too different, but I do want there to be an age gap. Now, I say age gap, but there is nothing romantic between them. Never has been, never will be. He was the next door neighbor, and he used to walk her and her sister to school, babysit them like that. She may have had a little childish crush on him, but he never entertained that. He's not into children, to make that clear. And he always saw Teresa as like a cute younger sibling. He's actually the one who found her after the rest of the family had died. And the 2 of them joined the military after the space navy or marines. I haven't decided what I'm calling them yet, but the 2 of them became soldiers because they didn't really have much other options. So there was that. Anyway, he knows that Teresa will do anything he tells her to without question, a fact that he does abuse, but I won't let you know how he does that because I want you to get that reveal in the story itself. I don't like how his uniform looks. It's the same uniform that the others wear, but I wanted his to look slightly different because Neela and Jalen, they knew Teresa was a captain, so she has a little difference in her uniform, but I wanted his to look even more different, but very similar. My brother thinks he looks like an asshole, even though out of all the designs for this story, Rosin is his favorite. So make of that what you will. Anyway, here is Rosin. And now for the next character. This guy's name is Sam. And honestly, I can't say much about him without major spoilers because even his background is a spoiler. And where he was born is a spoiler. And what he does as a job is a spoiler. So I can't really talk much about him. But I can tell you about his personality and the fact that he does have a romance with Teresa. he's her love interest. Neela and Jalen also get along, but there is a romance between him and Teresa. He likes peace, so he and Jalen work to maintain the peace, especially between Neela and Teresa, but also Neela and Blaze, because Blaze is a bit of a wild one, especially when he's with Neela, and Neela is always wild. He likes working out, so he does get along with Neela and Blaze, and he's very reliable, which is one of the things that attracts Teresa to him. As for his design, I love trench coats. I think they're so cool. The way they blow in the wind is like a cape but more practical. So I had to give him a trench coat. He needed a trench coat. And then I gave him a green shirt because nobody else had green in their color scheme, and I wanted him to stand out a little more. But I also wanted him to not be too noticeable. I wanted him to look cool, but I also wanted him to look like he could easily blend into a crowd, because they don't even see him the first time they meet because he blends in so well. He's not a man who likes people noticing him. And I'm not gonna say why, because that's spoiler. It's so hard talking about this character, so I'm just not going to talk about him anymore. This is Sam. So now we have Blaze. He's Jalen's cousin and Neela's love interest. There's not a ton to his character since the story is supposed to be very short and sweet, and it's mainly focused on Teresa, Neela, and Jalen's search for the truth. He gets kidnapped and shot in episode 1 and doesn't come back until later in the story to help with the final battle, so we're not really going to see him much. He and Neela are partners in crime, they both love mischief, and he's a huge fan of when she has her hair out. I mentioned in the first video that she has big wild hair and she likes it and he loves it. When they're working on the spaceship that they were working on, she has to keep it in a bun to keep it out of the way because you don't want to get your hair caught on things. But he loves it when he's out because he likes the wildness in her hair and personality. And the two of them together do stress Jalen out, but she loves them anyway. Jalen really wishes that they would just confess to each other and stop dancing around their feelings, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. He is very loyal, and in episode 1, after he gets shot and hurt, he has to be physically dragged away when they're forced to go on the run and can't take him because he's too badly hurt. He still wants to go with them because he's worried that if he's not there, they're going to get hurt, and he does not want the two most important people in his life to get hurt. So he's definitely coming back in the end. You're gonna have to contact him or the guy might have a heart attack due to worry. I love his color scheme. The purple and orange in his sweatshirt aren't colors that I use much. I don't use them much separately, and I definitely have never put them together. But I really like how it looks on that sweatshirt, and now I kind of want that sweatshirt. Anyway, here is Blaze. And now for the final two characters. So I did this drawing after a few weeks of using Clip Studio Paint, so I was feeling much more comfortable. And I decided to try out using a 3D model for the couch, and then I used an image texture for the background wall and for Vito's suit and shirt. So it was fun, even though it did take me a little while to figure out how to use the model and the textures. When I compiled the footage for this video, it came up to being over 8 hours, and more than 4 of them was just from this one drawing, making it one of the longest drawings I've ever worked on. I'm not someone who generally enjoys working too long on any one thing. That's one of the reasons why I tend to fast draft my novels, and I have a very loose painterly style with my traditional work. And my digital work is very simple, but I did want to slow down a bit for this drawing. So the girls actually meet these two in episode 2 on a gambling rogue planet. He's the one who sponsors Jalen's entry into a drone racing contest where they're trying to win enough money to get a ship before any bounty hunters, soldiers, or assassin can track them down. Previously, they were using a shuttle from one of the ships back in episode 1, and since that's a space soldier, Navy Marine type ship, it's just a matter of time until somebody tracked them down. And he's actually the one who gets them the ship that they then use for the rest of the story. Fiona works for Vito technically, but that gives the wrong impression of their relationship. While he is paying her, and he did hire her, they're actually more close friends. Just friends though. Vito isn't interested in anything or anyone, and Fiona isn't interested in human men, or at least mostly human men. Due to reasons that I want to say a spoiler, but the truth is that I haven't come up with the details yet, is that Vito is a mutated human who struggles with controlling the monster side, and Fiona also suffers from a similar problem, though she is in 100% control of herself at this moment. That's one of the reasons why he hired her, because he wants to be able to get in control like she is. Vito is prone to adrenaline-seeking behaviors. He gets bored very easily. Fiona was hired to keep him under control so that he doesn't listen to every intrusive thought that flows through his head and does something stupid, as well as to help him keep the inner monster from coming out. And if it does come out, she is able to bring him under control much faster and better than anybody else. So she is vital to his life. I do want to have a side story where Fiona gets kidnapped and Vito goes after her and goes berserk, but I haven't really brainstormed that yet since I'm working more on the healing flame. You can check out my video on that to learn more about what that story is about. And while I have written episodes 1 and 2, I need to do more planning before I can move on to the other episodes. I plan for this story to be about 8 episodes long, and I have an outline of what I want in each episode, but I haven't done a full outline of the other episodes yet, so I am mostly done with the outline for episode 3. I really took my time with this drawing. I was just getting into digital art with the other drawings, well, getting more into digital art. I did dabble in it a little before, but I never really got into drawing digital art like I have now. And I know that sounds weird because I did attempt to do comics before, but I think my skills were just too bad that I never really got into the digital art, and my skills had to get better before I could really start enjoying digital art. And that explains why the first few drawings, like the ones in the Healing Flame video and the ones for Teresa, Neela, and Jalen, do look a little rougher. But by the time I reached this piece, I had gotten much more used to the program, and I had downloaded a lot of more brushes that I liked more than default. I have more brushes than anyone needs to download, and I was feeling more free to experiment with color and line art. The line art for this drawing was a lot thinner than I normally do, and I colored it, which is becoming more of a habit at this point. I normally love thick black line art, especially when I'm doing traditional drawings, but lately I've been using thinner line art and I've been coloring it, and I have been liking the results. So we'll see if that sticks or if I go back to using the thick line art. Right now I'm just having a lot of fun. I even adjusted the colors after I finished this drawing, which is not something I normally do, but I was feeling very experimental, and I did it, and I really liked how it came out more saturated, because when I up the saturation, of course it's going to be more saturated. Anyway, I liked how the drawing of Nora and Gracie came out in the Healing Flame video, and getting that success with doing a drawing with a background for that piece did give me the confidence to start drawing more and more backgrounds. I know this one is a bit simple, but I don't normally draw characters interacting with stuff like couches, sitting down, so this was a little bit hard, but I had a lot of fun doing this, and I really hope you like it. So thanks again for watching the video. I hope everything I said interests you in this story. Leave me a comment telling me which one is your favorite drawing and which character sounds like the best. I have a feeling it's going to be the last drawing simply because it is the best technically, but my brother did pick Rosette, so I do want to hear what you guys think. If you think that's fun, you can check out some of my other videos. I mentioned the Healing Flame, but I also have a sketchbook tour that I posted recently, and another one that I'm going to post very soon because it's finished. And I have other videos on other stuff, traditional art, more digital art, and I will be posting more regularly from now on because I have a new computer. And that was the reason why I didn't post much last year. So I hope to see you in another video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and later.